Florida's Senate race has just become one of the most competitive and closely watched in the country. It could also be one of the most expensive.
That's because Governor Rick Scott declared his candidacy in a direct challenge to three-term incumbent Senator Bill Nelson. CBS 4's Joan Murray is live tonight in downtown Fort Lauderdale with more on the race. Joan.
Well, the campaign is only a few hours old, but already the war of words has started, and it is expected that this is going to turn out to be one of the costliest and nastiest races in recent history. The unsurprising announcement went off with a hitch.
You're the first to know I'm going to run for the U.S. Senate representing the great state of Florida.
Once past his initial glitch, two-term Republican Governor Rick Scott launched into a familiar talking point on how he intends to unseat longtime Democratic Senator Bill Nelson.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do the exact same thing we've done in Florida. We're going to turn around the national economy. We're going to make sure that Washington works for us.
Nelson wasted no time answering the challenge.
Well, I don't care who is an opponent. I always take them seriously, and I run like there's no tomorrow. And I think in this case, a lot of the differences between the two of us are going to come out.
Miami Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart quickly endorsed Scott, saying, as Governor Rick Scott has led initiatives and enacted legislation that creates jobs, reduces taxes, and eliminates burdensome regulations. In the last 8 years, Florida businesses have created over 1.5 million jobs, allowing Floridians to provide better opportunities for their families. I look forward to continuing that work when he becomes Florida's next senator.
I think turnout's going to be large. I think this is going to be closer to a presidential year turnout than it will be a midterm turnout.
At Nova Southeastern University professor Charles Zeldin said Senator Bill Nelson has some catching up to do.
His weakness is that there's a lot of people who aren't that enthusiastic for him.
As for Rick Scott, he says he will have to deal with how voters are feeling about President Donald Trump.
What he's got to fight is the tide that potentially can go against Republicans in general.
Now, both sides have a lot of money that they are willing to spend, so expect very soon to start seeing those attack ads and continuing for the next 7 months. In Fort Lauderdale, Joan Murray, CBS 4 News.
Joan, thank you. Florida State Senator Oscar Brannen II says he is, quote, disturbed by Governor Scott's candidacy, and he accused the governor of being motivated only by self-interest.
We look at what happened yesterday in Liberty City and what happens every day in communities like Liberty City and what's been happening in my community, whether it be Miami Gardens, Liberty City, North Miami, Opelika, with gun violence. And I've been complaining about it consistently since I've been in the legislature. My colleagues that represent these areas here in South Florida, represent the urban cores of Florida, have been complaining about it consistently, and nothing's been done. And now all of a sudden he's making a call to Mayor Suarez. Mayor Suarez has been dealing with this since Tomas Regalado was dealing with this in the city of Miami. So, you know, that Johnny-come-lately attitude of, oh, okay, I'm going to do it now that it's time for election. Children have been dying in our community. So to me, it feels like he doesn't have a concern for my community.
Brannen also noted Scott's efforts to roll back voting rights for former felons. He praised the work of Senator Bill Nelson and called him the voice in the Senate that represents most Floridians.